Hi again. This is yet another video in the series trying to help you learn how to use SOLIDWORKS for computer-aided design. The last video we made a sketch from your first part. You made your first part in the first video. Well, we're going to take it another step further, and this time we're going to do some assembly creation. So let's get started. Here's back to the window where we created a part. You'll notice that that when you look at the part in this view, it looks kind of, well, it's a standard thing you'll become familiar with. It shows at the top here that the part name is block1.slidpart. I don't think you can pronounce slidpart. I think it's without the vowels, but it's meant to be solid part. And there's certain tools that are evident in here, like under features, there's extruded, revolved, and a whole bunch of these other things that we'll get into later. There's a sketch tab for doing sketches. There's an evaluate tab for doing that, and a bunch of other things. But this is a standard view when you're working on a part. Now, the thing about a part is that it's a single, solid, and typically connected piece. So it's one solid blob. But that's not all that we need to make sometimes. We actually need to make assemblies of things. So I can go over to make assembly from part, similarly to make drawing from part that we showed before, and that's the easy way to do it. Or I can just go to new, and in this window I can pick a new assembly. And the window that opens up is similar but different, and more often than not you'll get yourself confused as to whether you're working in a part window or an assembly window. They're kind of interchangeable, but they're slightly different, and it's annoyingly slightly different. So when you start to hear me curse and swear about SOLIDWORKS, this was one of the first things when I started using it that I got really confused with. So just bear in mind, these look really similar, the part window and the assembly window, but they're very different in how they work. First thing when you open up a new one is it wants us to create a layout. And you can just click that and click OK, whatever the default is. It doesn't actually matter. The thing is that there's nothing here. And again, it looks an awful lot like the window you were in before. It's got the same view tabs here. It's got tabs up here that are similar but different. And one thing that's interesting is that there's nothing viewed here. Now, anything on the left, which is the feature manager, which is a really important tool. So this feature manager design tree, I spend a lot of time looking at that and using it. I'm going to just simply right click on that feature top plane, and there's a whole bunch of things here. I'm just going to click show. So now that should be visible. I'm just going to click rebuild. That should be visible. Why is it not visible? I don't know why that's not visible. Oh well. So we're in the assembly world right now. So if you click assembly button here over on the left, and you'll see that there's a tab comes up which is insert components. Well, let's try that because we can't have an assembly without stuff. Now right now it shows me in the browse button that there's only one block that's already an open document. Now that's there because I haven't closed it from the previous window. I could browse for other ones, and I have a bunch of other parts in various places. But I'm just going to pick that, and there it shows up. And I'm just moving my mouse around in that window, not really locating it anywhere in particular. You'll notice that there's at the bottom this box that shows up, and before I've placed this component, I can decide to flip it in different ways, different axes. I can rotate it by different degrees. But I'm just going to place it like that, and it moves into place. And two things, it looks the same, and it looks the same as it does in the part window, which is why it's so damn confusing. But also, now this design feature manager shows the block here as a thing. So that's not that interesting in that it doesn't look any different from what we've already done. So let's insert another component. We can insert the same component again, and it shows up again. Now I've got two blocks, but this one's dragging around. I just have to decide something and click, and it's there. Now the problem is that, where is it? It's not very helpful if it's just kind of floating in space, because it is. And in fact, while it managed to get kind of close to this guy, it's really hard sometimes to tell that you placed something in the view plane but a mile away distant. That's hard to sometimes get out of. So you'll see that there's these mate tools, and if you click up here, there's a little paperclip sort of thing, and if you select that, then it's enabling you to create a mate. This is going to give this part some kind of relationship to the part you've placed already. The first part you placed becomes the grounded part. So that is kind of locked in the whole world that you're now going to work in. So you don't have to mate the first part, only everything after that. Now for some reason it likes that face. I don't want to mate that face to it. What I'd like to do is maybe I'd like to make it so that this face and this face are coincident. It's giving me some choices, and so I'm going to make them coincident. I could also specify a distance between those, and because I picked planes, maybe I will. Maybe I'll make that 3 millimeters. Now that 3 millimeters, it could be 3 millimeters down, so this is above this, or it could be 3 millimeters up, and I'm just going to say I want to flip the dimension. There. But now I can still move this around, but if you look, whoops, it's always moving around. It's hard to tell because it's deceptive where it is. It's actually moving around within the plane of that other part. So I need to have some other relationship. I think what I'm going to do is take that cylinder and that cylinder, and I'm going to make them concentric. I could lock the rotation, but I don't want to do that just now. There. Those are concentric now. Now if I try to move this, the only way it moves is like this, like it's pivoting around a post. That's kind of cool. But now I could take another component. I'll use the block again. And again, same process. I'm going to take that and that. I've selected them both. I'm going to mate them. I just highlighted both of those surfaces by holding my mouse down. And I'm going to make them same as before. I'm going to make that 3 millimeters. Now, I wonder, it picked it on the right side that time. It remembered what I did from before. And if I click yes, that's good. I could also select this because I'm still in the mate tool, and that, and I could make them concentric again. Now I've got 2 blocks. But so what if I want to make some kind of relationship between the angle? Maybe I want to make this a spiral. Now I can pick, I'm still in the mate tool, that, and that line, and I can specify an angle between them. I'm going to make that 10 degrees. And it's the wrong 10 degrees. And I can try it with some of these other directions. There, that's the one I wanted. Notice it still satisfied all of those other things that we had. That's not exactly what I want. And that's not what I want. That's not what I want. That'll work. And I could do the same thing with the next one. So I could rotate these. Now if I try to select this one to rotate it, it won't let me drag it anywhere. So that's done. So assemblies allow you to take a variety of components. In this case, we've just taken the same component 3 times, and we've linked them together in some complicated way. Now I could go the next step, and I could make a new part as a post going through these if I was making something. But these parts don't need to be physically connected. They're just connected by geometry and space. And assemblies can get very, very complicated and very big very fast. So that's enough for now. Thanks for watching. See you the next time.